Hi guys, welcome to the fourth video of the CSRF protection with Golang project series. So in the last video, the third video, towards the end, I was not able to explain you some things, and because I had to rush really quickly. So now let me now that I have time, so let me explain to you. So we have these three functions, right? Nullify token cookies, and then we have set auth and refresh to cookies, and then you have grab CSRF from request. Now all these three functions are very important. Okay, so the nullify token cookies, this basically is going to revoke your cookies. So at the end, after we have set this cookie, right, after the end we'll have to do a couple of more things here, and then at the end we'll just call the myjwt dot revoke refresh token function, which will be in this JWT file, right? So all we'll do here is just revoke those tokens right towards the end. And set auth and refresh tokens cookies, this function basically sets those cookies that we saw in the postman, that it just sets those cookies basically, and this nullifies them. That's all these two functions are doing. But the format is same, because like you saw in that in the postman when I showed you the demo, that it had auth cookie and refresh cookie, right? So the format for both these functions will be the same, exactly the same, because we're using the same information. And so this function takes w and r, and this function will take w http dot response writer, comma, it'll take auth token string. So you'll pass auth token string to it, which is of type string. And you'll pass you'll also pass refresh token to it. So you'll say refresh token with r small refresh token string, and which is again of type string. Okay, so those are the things that you'll get in this function, and this function is fairly straightforward, because all you're doing here is creating an auth cookie, which is of type http dot cookie, and you have a name, you have a value, and you have HTTP only, so we'll say true. And here we have auth token and auth token string, comma, and at the end we'll say http dot set cookie w and ampersand auth cookie, and then we have refresh cookie http dot cookie, again the same things, name, the name here is refresh token. So this name is basically the one when I showed you postman, so you saw auth token and refresh token, those names that came here, and they had these values. So that's basically what's happening here. And here it should have been HTTP, sorry, with a small mistake. So you'll have refresh token, comma, value, refresh token string, comma, HTTP only is true. We'll put a comma at the end as well. And here you'll set the cookie for with this value as well. So you'll say star w, comma, ampersand refresh cookie, So essentially you're just creating these cookies with the help of with the values with strings, and you're just setting these cookies in http.setCookie function. And this is it. I mean, this is all you're doing with this function. Okay, and then you'll have a function that grabs the CSRF from every request. Like I told you, for every subsequent HTTP request, you'll have to send CSRF token. So we need some logic at our inside our program that basically is able to grab that CSRF from whatever you send it. Whatever you send, like you'll send the CSRF token to the server. So we need some logic to be able to extract that CSRF token. So we'll say CSRF from. So these are all utility functions that we're building right now, all right? And the form that you've sent from Postman, you will have CSRF token. R is the request. So in the request form value, you have X CSRF token. That's how now you'll have to send it as. So we'll say SCRF token from is equal to empty. That means there's nothing here. You'll return CSRF from, else you'll return the CSRF token after grabbing it from the header. All right. So you just sending the CSRF token here as a string. All right. So this function is complete, and then we'll have yeah. So we were just continuing with our nullify token, right? So I had stopped it here, but there's a little more stuff to be done. So your refresh token, the current refresh token, will be in cookie. So here I'll say refresh. So I'll get the refresh token, and then I'll take that in refresh cookie, the cookie with the refresh token, and I'll also have a refresh error, so I can handle the error now. So I'll say if refresh error is equal to http dot error no cookie. So this is a type of error which says that there's no cookie, so that's the error we're handling. So here we can do anything, or we can do nothing, because there's no refresh token present, and we'll just return from here. Else if refresh error is not equal to nil, that means there's some error, then we'll say log dot panic %+v comma refresh error, and we'll print out the error, http error, and you'll send it as a response. So we'll say http dot status text 500 comma 500. So you're sending a 500 error here. And now comes the most important part, which is jwt dot revoke refresh token refresh cookie dot value. So we're basically revoking the refresh token. All right. And now once you've revoked refresh token, that means the user cannot use the refresh token to get the next JWT token. So just keep a record of this function right now. What it does, it just nullifies the refresh tokens. Just keep a record for that right now, and I'll show you how to use it. So if you've probably understood what's happening here, right? Well, like maybe, because I've not explained to you yet, but probably you've understood what's happening here. So the value is becoming empty for the auth token, and for the refresh token the value is becoming empty, right? Whereas for set, auth and refresh token, you were setting some value, but here you're making the values empty for auth and refresh token both, and it's also revoking your refresh token so that you can't use it again to get the new JWT token. So just make a record of this function, and I'll use it in a couple of places, and you'll understand why we created this function. Right now we're just creating utility functions so that we're able to use them inside our project. Okay, so that's all I had for middleware. Now let's go to, we'll obviously have to work on these functions like the auth handler and logic handler. So we'll come back to this, but for now this is it. Now let's work on some other functions that we have. So what I'll do right now is I'll just set up the myjwt.go file. So let's close off the other files, and I'm just going to create the outline of the functions that we'll have in this file. All right, we won't be able to work on those functions, but we'll just create the outline because this video, I'm running out of time right now. So package myJWT, that's what we're going to call this package. We're going to import a few things here. So firstly, we'll have crypto RSA, because as you know, we need the RSA algorithm to compare the private and public keys. The RSA keys that we are using, that we'll have in this folder called keys, we'll be using the RSA keys to keep our authentication very secure. And you have IO, you have the time package. If you've been watching my videos, you already know what all these packages do, because I use them almost in all the videos. If you're new to this channel, there are more than 100 videos on Golang on this channel, so do check it out. Now I need the JWT package, because in this file has all the logic that's required to work with JWT tokens. So we'll say the same package that we've been using till now, the JWT Go package, and I'll also import my models and my database. So I'll say GitHub, and I'll give it an absolute route. db/models, github.com/akhil/golang CSRF project/db. So now I have all the things that I need, and I'm just going to define two constants. One is going to be the private key path, which will be keys/app.rsa. So this is the private key that I'll have, and then I'll have a public key. So I'll have a public key path, which will be keys/app.rsa.pub. So these keys will be in my keys folder. Like I said, the one will be a private key, the other will be a public key, and I'll just copy and paste a key from my that I've already created before. And if you want to create a key in Ubuntu, it's very easy. I think it's just a RSA create kind of a command. Just check it out online how you can create the RSA key on your particular system. So it'll create a pair for you, a private and a public key pair for you. So just check it out how to do it on if you're on Mac or on Windows. For Ubuntu, it's very, very straightforward. And I'm pretty sure if you've ever worked on a server, you've already used it. Those are the keys used for SSHing into any server. So here we'll have a function to init JWT. This function that we have already defined in our main.go. So that's the function we'll have here. And then there are some more functions that I showed you in that diagram in the first video during the demo. There will be a create new tokens function in this file. It'll accept some parameters, it'll return some parameters, and it'll have a function definition. Then I'll have a function, which is another important function for checking and refreshing the tokens. Again, accepts some parameters and returns some, and has a function definition. Now the next one is create auth token string. So we'll say func create auth token string function. You'll come to know why I'm using each of these functions. Right now I'm just creating an outline. Some of them might be self-explanatory, but some could be you might be wondering why we're using these functions, but you'll understand it once we start writing the code in each of these functions. So the next is func create refresh token string. And the next is update refresh token expiry We'll take an old refresh token and give you a new refresh token. The next one is update auth token string. Update auth token string. Accepts a couple of parameters, returns them, and also has a function definition. Then you have your revoke refresh token. So this function that we called here, revoke refresh token, that also we need to define out here. So we'll say func revoke refresh token, and it'll accept something and return an error if things go wrong. And then you have your function to update refresh token from refresh token CSRF. Accepts some things, returns some things, and has a function definition. And then the last function that you'll have is grab UUID. Now these two functions are really important: create new tokens and check and refresh tokens, right? And these functions will call all these other functions. Inside these functions we'll call these other functions. So grab UUID and accept some things, return some things, and has a function definition. So this is your general outline of what all the functions that we're building right now in my JWT file. So in the next video, I'll have to continue building these functions. I'm just running out of time. I have to be somewhere right now. But thank you for watching, and do subscribe to the channel so that you can continue with this series and you come to know all the awesome stuff that I keep creating with Golang. And soon we'll start with other technologies as well. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.